Muslim scholar, the role of the one who wishes to do Islamic studies is a complicated one, is a difficult one. Because Islamic studies, Islamic sciences, is something that is a very vast subject. It covers a history of over 1,400 years. It includes topics such as jurisprudence and the principles of deriving legal rulings. It deals with logic and philosophy and theology. It deals with the Quran and exegesis, tafsir. It deals with knowing Arabic language and the etymology of words and grammar. It deals with knowing poetry, especially the early poetry. It deals with knowing hadith and the narrators of hadith. It deals with topics such as mysticism and esoteric things such as irfan and so on. So it is something that is very vast in its scope. So many different fields are included in the Islamic sciences. And a true scholar should know, at least, of course, always there's specialization, but should have a good grasp of all these fields. They should study widely, they should read widely in all of these things. Because the role of the scholar is one where he needs to look at things in a broad perspective. He cannot be focused singularly on something if he wishes to be a successful scholar in the society, in shaping society, and to become a true leader for the society. Abu Ishaq al-Shatibi, famous medieval scholar of the Ahl al-Sunnah, also known as Imam al-Shatibi, he wrote about a concept for which he became quite famous for. He was famous for other things as well, but quite famous for a concept called Maqasid al-Sharia. What are the principles, what are the sort of overall guiding principles of the Sharia? Meaning, what does the Islamic law, what does the Sharia wish to achieve? And his argument was that a mujtahid, a scholar who is a jurist, cannot just focus on the apparent meaning of the nusus, sort of the sources, the texts, like the Quran and Hadith, but rather he needs to take into account everything as a whole when he's giving rulings. He needs to look at the overall arching principles, and only then can give rulings. And this is why when we say that you cannot do ijtihad on just one issue. If you want to be a mujtahid, you should be able to understand all the concepts. It's not that, okay, I've understood this one thing. Because there needs to be a broader view of things. And without that, one will be very prone to mistakes and mistaken views. So Shatibi talks about the role of the Muslim scholar. And he says that part of the role and the duty of the scholar in society, the mujtahid, is that he is not only interacting with the nusus, with the texts, he is interacting with the society as well. So he illustrates this with an example. He says that if the scholar, he notices that in society people are tending towards extremism in one end or the other. So for example, they are going to the extreme of being lax with regards to the rulings of the Sharia. They do not, for example, care about those things which are mustahab. they abandon those things which are makruh, and they engage in those things which are makruh. So they ignore these. He says that the scholar should strive even more to perform those mustahabbat in a way that the people will be able to see him and take his example, so that they will be reminded that, for example, praying nafila prayer is part of the sunnah, that they should not abandon that. Yeah. On the other hand, he said, if they go to the other extreme where they treat something which is mustahab as if it is wajib, everyone has to do it, yeah, and people are sort of looked down upon if they don't engage in that mustahab, or if it's something makruh and people do it, and if they act as if it's haram and they don't allow people to engage in that makruh act, then the scholar should again engage in that makruh act in front of the people to show them that this is makruh, it's not haram. Or abandon a mustahab act so that they will realize that this is not wajib, this is a mustahab thing to do. His point here, of course, is that, as we said, it's not just about engaging with the text, it's about engaging with the society as well. He needs to have a broader view of things, not just a singular focus. He is not just someone who is locked away in his chambers studying the books. He is someone who has to be amongst the people and live amongst the people. And this is, even though Shatibi is of course a Sunni scholar, this is something very relevant in Shiism as well, and it's something that is very emphasized actually in the fiqh, the Ja'fari fiqh, which is that the mujtahid, this is why we emphasize that the mujtahid should be a living mujtahid, the one that is people follow. They should be following a living mujtahid. But they shouldn't follow, Sheikh Tusi, who lived 1,000 years ago. Why? Because Sheikh Tusi cannot engage with the society. So a scholar should be, that is being followed by the people, should be a scholar that is alive, that he knows what is going on with the people. He should be amongst them. He should interact with them. He should understand the needs of the society. And therefore, we said in the beginning that Islamic science is difficult because it's such a vast topic. Actually, the role of the true Muslim scholar is even more difficult than that, because it's not even enough to have a good understanding of the Islamic sciences. He needs to have an understanding of many other sciences as well. He needs to know about current events and politics. He needs to know about sort of sciences and medicine. He needs to be aware of what is going on in society. Otherwise, he cannot have that broad view which is needed to be able to properly guide that community, the Muslim Ummah. So this is a very challenging task when we talk about the task of a true Muslim scholar who acts as a leader to the people. It is not something that just anyone can perform such a task. It is very challenging indeed, but of course it is also at the same time very important. And that's why there is this emphasis in Shiism, the Ja'fari, that the mujtahid should be a living mujtahid. We should follow someone who is currently alive, because without this interaction with the society, that ijtihad will always be falling short of what it should be achieving. And we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He blesses our scholars by increasing their knowledge, and that He helps them to guide us towards a better future. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا.